Hello and welcome everyone to Food Processing Skills Canada's Program Information Webinar for iFood360. We're excited to have you with us here today to share some details on our exciting program and show you how we believe it can help food processors achieve their training goals and also explore the potential of virtual reality in their businesses. We're also very pleased to let you know that the program will be launching in April and is now open for registration. My name is Mark McGowan. I'm the project manager of iFood360. I'd also like to introduce Mike Sawicki, our project specialist, and Mike will also be the moderator for today's webinar. Do you want to say hi, Mike?
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us today. We're excited to show you what we've been working on.
Great, thanks, Mike. You may have noticed when you joined the webinar that your cameras and mics are turned off, but that definitely doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you today. We've planned a couple poll questions that are related to your perceptions of virtual reality, and we're really interested to see your responses there. And we've also planned a couple stages in the webinar where we're going to stop and answer any questions you have. So as we go along, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat or send them directly to Mike, and we'll stop and answer as many questions as we can. I also want to let you know that we're recording today's webinar, and we'll be sending you a link in a follow-up email we'll be sending out afterwards. So if you have to step away for a moment, or if you have to drop off early, you'll be able to catch up using the recording. So before we get started, it'd be great if we could just get a sense of where everyone is joining us from today. So if you're inclined, could you please in the chat just type a quick note and let us know which town or city and province or country you're joining us from today? Are we seeing any responses there, Mike?
Not yet. I think everybody's just having them roll in now. We've got some people from Winnipeg, though, St. John's, New Brunswick.
Okay, I'm just looking in the Q&As, Mike, and it says chat is disabled.
Okay, it's sent to everybody, but through the Q&A, if everybody could answer, we'll make sure the chat's open for following this.
Okay, that's great. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I apologize for that little technical difficulty. If your chat's disabled, please use the Q&A and you can type in where you're calling in from. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. So now it's my pleasure to introduce Jennifer Griffith, the Executive Director of Food Processing Skills Canada, to say a few words of welcome and talk a little bit about FPSC. Jennifer?
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mike. Welcome, everyone. We're so glad that you are joining us from across the country. I see numerous cities and provinces here joining us. We are really excited about this project, around virtual reality and career exploration as well. So really being able to engage, I think our workforce in a different way, giving them the practical, the theory component, and then actually allowing them to practice in a virtual reality setting. This has definitely been a labor of love, I would say. The development has been very, very intense, but we are definitely enjoying the experience and being able to go out to some of your facilities and actually filming in 3D, which that camera looks kind of like a soccer ball, and it has like 8 lenses around it. It spins really fast, so you can, get the full depth and perception of where you are. So being able to do that in a variety of settings and locations where we can actually show I guess those job seekers, students, build that pipeline and maybe get excitement about the careers in our great sector. For those of you who don't know, Food Processing Skills Canada is, we've been around for a good time now, and workforce development is what we do. Skills development, any tools, resources, training materials that we can provide to our companies, to the workforce, to educators, to really I guess, professionalize our industry as much as possible. We are the largest manufacturing sector in Canada. You know, most people seem to be blown away by that. Didn't really know that we're larger than aviation or, you know, groups like that. But, you know, we're not making things or toys, we're making food, so, you know, which is important to all of us. Oh, I see Lynn is online. Hi, Lynn, one of our board of directors from Acadian Supreme. I saw Nye on board. I see a lot of panelists, some of our Food Processing Skills Canada's friends, so welcome. But you're in for a treat today. You're actually going to get to see a demo of what some of the activities are going to look like. That's my favorite part of the presentation. I already said to Mark and Mike, I'm excited to see that and try it. So let's get on to it. Oh, I should actually thank our funders for this project while I'm at it. Future Skills Center. They are a pan-Canadian organization that are funding a lot of these types of pilot projects, things we want to try, see how they work, and it's heavily evaluated. So even when your employees or staff will be able to take the training, will be able to evaluate how they're doing in the activities and so forth. So we really want to measure the gains and how VR is actually going to impact the workforce and your places of business. So thank you to the Future Skills Center for providing the funding for this project. I'll hand it back over to you, Mark.
That's great. Thanks, Jennifer. Just to kick off, we'll review the agenda. First, we're going to talk about what is iFood360 and why we chose virtual reality to pilot. We're going to give you lots of program details, and as Jennifer pointed out, we're going to give you a demonstration of our virtual reality software. Then we'll delve into how it works for you and the next steps and how you can pursue a partnership with us for the program. So to start, what is iFood360? It's a new program designed by Food Processing Skills Canada to pilot virtual reality learning experiences with people employed in the Canadian food and beverage processing industry, and assist job seekers and students in exploring new career opportunities using engaging and innovative virtual reality experiences. Now, Jennifer mentioned this second element in her introduction in talking about filming plants across the country. We're not going to be delving too much into it today. But we still think it's very exciting, and it's going to be a benefit to the industry, as it's going to introduce students and job seekers to the possibility of a career in our industry using really fun and exciting virtual reality activities. So we think it's a great part of the program. So the next question we want to answer for you is why virtual reality? And I think the best way to start is by quoting Jennifer from our website. Virtual reality is the next logical step in Food Processing Skills Canada's mission to support people with the best skills development and training available. Not only is it a great alternative to hands-on learning when physical distancing is required, but it also provides a safe and effective learning environment where students are immersed in the subject matter. So why do we think VR will help us deliver the best skills development and training available? Well, our extensive research has shown that in comparison to more traditional training methods like e-learning or classroom, or even in some cases on-the-job training, virtual reality delivers a dramatic increase in learner confidence to perform their trained tasks, a significant reduction in on-the-job human errors, and risk-free training for potentially hazardous activities, therefore reducing workplace injuries. Our research has also shown that virtual reality provides a 60% reduction in required training time, 70% improvement in post-training job performance, and an 80% increase in retained knowledge. So those are some pretty significant numbers that we feel have a great potential to influence your ability to train your employees. If you'd like to learn more about VR, FPSC has authored a research report on virtual reality in the food and beverage processing industry. We presented this report via a webinar about a little more than a year ago. It contains observations on the future of learning and the potential impact that VR can have. It also has a section on understanding the different kinds of VR and their applications. There's also a very interesting section where we review 14 different academic studies on existing VR implementations, and that includes applications like technical and safety training, soft skills training, productivity and performance, and even sales and marketing. And finally, there's a how-to section on how organizations can get started integrating VR into their strategies. And we'll include links to that report in our follow-up email, but you can also, on our website, iFood360.ca, which should be popping up on your screen shortly, you'll see there's a section on our homepage that's related to this report, where you can see some examples from the 14 academic studies. You can also download the report, and you can also watch the webinar. So now we've gotten to our first poll question, and it's about getting an understanding of what your exposure is at this point to virtual reality. So the question is, have you had any exposure to virtual reality, either in your professional or personal life? So you can answer one or more questions in the affirmative and submit, and Mike is going to let us know how the response is going.
Yeah, they're rolling in now. It looks like a majority of the people, about 52%, have answered that neither. They've had neither professional or personal. And then personal coming up second with 36%.
Yeah, I don't think that's surprising that half of the people who've responded haven't been exposed to VR at all. We've discovered that in a lot of the work we've been doing in developing the program. And it's also interesting that the exposure in professional life is as low as 18%. The virtual reality has probably been progressing based on some of the entertainment applications, but I think in some of our work we've realized the great potential of using it in a business setting for training. So hopefully we can demonstrate that through the project. And Mike, I suspect there's probably a lot of people saying where they're from in the Q&A, but have you been able to parse out any questions there?
None have come up yet.
Okay, great. We'll just keep going. So now we're going to dig a little deeper into the details of the program. iFood360 is a training program for your employees that features a curriculum of e-learning courses. The first stream focuses on industrial skills related to food and worker safety. We have 7 e-learning courses in this curriculum: good manufacturing practices, food spoilage and food safety, distribution and warehouse safety, allergens level 1, workplace and industrial safety, lockout, tagout, and sanitation level 1. And each of these e-learning courses is then reinforced with fun and engaging VR activities to help the students enhance their understanding and improve their knowledge retention. The second stream is focused on social emotional skills. And here we have a very successful series of e-learning courses that are focused on emotional intelligence, starting with the introduction to emotional intelligence, knowing and handling my emotions, adaptability in the workplace, building personal resilience, and empathy at work. Again, all of these courses will be reinforced with immersive experiences that explore resiliency, adaptability, and empathy. And we found that the strength of VR and emotional intelligence training is embodiment, or bringing a concept to life and helping the student appreciate the emotional impact of their behaviors. In our usability testing for the program, we recorded a lot of feedback on how the EI experiences brought up emotional reactions from our testers. One even said that they felt embarrassed, as though they were intruding on a private and personal conversation. So that's an indication for us of the potential of VR to take emotional intelligence training to a different level. So finally, what we'd like to do is take this e-learning curriculum and the VR activities and deliver them to 400 workers from across the country in the food and beverage processing industry, representing all of the industry subsectors. So now that you've seen the scope of the program, you may be wondering how that translates into a commitment from your employees. We estimate that your employees' commitment will be approximately 23 hours of e-learning and virtual reality activities. This is based on data that we've collected on the average time it takes a user to complete the e-learning and VR activities. Some participants may take less time, some more, and it's usually based on their learning style and preferences, but 23 hours is the average. And that breaks down into 16 hours of industrial skills training and approximately 7 hours of social and emotional skills training. We're anticipating, based on past experience, that a majority of participants can complete the training comfortably in 6 to 8 weeks. So now that you have a better understanding of what's in the program, I'm going to ask Mike to take us through some examples of the virtual reality activities that Jennifer was mentioning earlier. We have these videos to show you, but one of the things that we've discovered is that there really isn't anything that compares to actually putting on the headset and experiencing virtual reality for yourself. It's an incredibly immersive experience where you feel immersed in the environment. So please keep that in mind as you watch the videos. We've done our best to give you a sense of how engaging the experience will be, but it's really dramatic how immersive it is when people actually put the headset on. Mike?
Thanks, Mark. Now, like Mark mentioned, it's hard to fully appreciate the experience unless you're wearing a virtual reality headset. We hope these videos give you a taste of what our program can bring to your workplace, though. So to start off our tour of iFood360, we'll be exploring how and where participants enter the Tournament of Champions. To start off, so the entry room is the hub that will be used to teleport between our social emotional village, Champions Village, and our operations and technical skills area, Champion Foods. We designed this area with the hopes of wowing participants by showing the transformative abilities of VR when displaying a large-scale room. Additionally, this area also features a fun minigame to get people comfortable with VR.
And Mike, sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I'm not sure videos in webinar presentations can be notoriously difficult. We hope you're seeing the videos at the speed they're intended to be seen. And again, if you're having any trouble, we'll be sending out a link to a recording where you should be able to see them at full speed if you're having any trouble. And if so, we apologize. Sorry to interrupt, Mike.
Absolutely. So from the entry room, participants will be able to access the Champion Foods locker room. While in the locker room, participants will be refreshing their learning from 2 courses. GMPs, which features a scavenger hunt type of activity, where as they explore the locker room, hazards will be pointed out and prescribed a fix. And there it is. And workplace industrial safety, which starts with a hand washing exercise, followed by a PPE activity where they a PPE activity that tests their knowledge in a direct and fun approach. So from the locker room, participants will enter our Champion Foods production floor. Our production floor features activities for food spoilage and food safety, where participants will accept or reject items based on their descriptions. Allergens level 1, where participants will label items as either allergens or non-allergens. This is based on the list of Canada's priority allergens. Once labeled, they'll determine where to store the item on a shelving unit to ensure the products avoid cross-contamination. Next, we have lockout tagout. This activity, participants will use a tablet to follow the safety steps to safely lock out and tag out equipment. Using various shutdowns and tools like these locks, users will simulate what it's like to safely lock out and tag out equipment in a virtual environment. Once locked out, participants can begin sanitation level 1. Using their tablet, participants will use a variety of tools like this brush to prep equipment for cleaning. As they progress through the steps on their tablet, they will have access to various other tools like a sprayer, which is oddly satisfying to use in VR. So continuing our journey, participants will have access to the Champion Foods warehouse and distribution area. During their time in this area, participants will refresh their learning from the distribution and warehouse food safety e-learning course. Using their tablet again, they'll explore the warehouse and distribution area before completing an activity. In this activity, they'll use various tools and methods to send and receive a shipment, like this thermometer, and even a pallet jack. And finally, Champions Village is the hub of all social emotional learning in the iFood360 program. Oh,
Sorry, Mike. There we go.
thanks. So while in Champions Village, they will interact with activities to strengthen their knowledge learned in social emotional curriculum using interactive videos. During this experience, they'll be put directly into real life work scenarios where they're given the ability to control the outcome of the scene and to see how their decisions impact the situation.
That was great. Thanks, Mike. And we hope everybody got to experience those videos as they were intended. It is a remarkable experience. The recordings you saw were actually Mike within the headset using his controllers to manipulate all of the items you saw. It's very engaging and very immersive. Before we get to any questions, we've got another poll question for you, and this is based on your perception of the prevalence of VR in business. And this is based on a study done in 2022 by PricewaterhouseCoopers. And we'd like your impression on what percentage of companies are either in the process of integrating VR into their strategies or have built VR into at least one dedicated line of business. So I can see the submissions are coming in. Mike is going to give us the results shortly and tell us what the actual answer is.
So we've still got a couple rolling in now. Give just everybody another minute just to get it keyed in.
And this will reflect back on our original poll question where we saw that 18% of our respondents had not experienced virtual reality in a business environment.
So all in the poll there, and it looks like we've got a bit of a staggering result here. So we've got 5%, 10%, 30%, with 5 and 10 looking like the dominating choices. Which, interestingly enough, actually, it's over 50%.
Yeah, I find it fascinating, Mike, and we'll include a link to that PricewaterhouseCoopers study in our follow-up email if you guys want to follow up on that study. It's got a lot of very interesting information. So here's another opportunity for us to answer questions. Anything in the chat or the Q&A, Mike?
Nothing's come up yet, but yeah, feel free to put it in the chat or send a direct Q&A message, and we'll make sure we field it after the presentation if nobody has any questions now.
Okay, well, and certainly We're available beyond the webinar if questions come up afterwards. We'd be thrilled if you reach out to us through our website or our contact information. So thanks, Mike. Now that we've reviewed the content of the program, what I'd like to show you next is what's involved in the support that FPSC will provide to our partners who are participating in the program. The first thing I want to talk about is the virtual reality headset. Each project partner will receive one or more Oculus Quest 2 headsets, depending on the size of your participant group. Each headset will come preloaded with the iFood360 content that you saw in the video, and will be ready to use. We chose the Oculus Quest 2 headset for the project because it's a standalone device, all-in-one headset that does not require a gaming PC or external tracking sensors, but can still run impressively detailed VR experiences. It's also very portable, so it's ideal for sharing among a group of participants. And next on the list is Chromebooks, and we've learned from past projects that access to technology resources can be a serious obstacle to successfully training a group of employees, especially frontline workers who don't necessarily have access to a computer in the regular course of their work. So we will be providing Chromebooks to enable online self-paced learning for employees who have limited access to a computer. We do have a limited number, so this is while quantities last, but we'll do our best to distribute them fairly among our group of partners. Next on the list is our partner dashboard, which is a personalized, secure online project resource where our partners can track their employees' program activities and progress. It's a simple, user-friendly tool that puts all the project details at your fingertips anytime you need them. It's a great resource, and we've had lots of fantastic feedback on the valuable information it provides in a simple and accessible way. So we think our partners will really enjoy having access to this tool. Next is our learning management system. Each project participant or employee will be able to access their own private account on the Food Processing Skills Canada LMS through an online portal, and will be able to intuitively engage in their e-learning curriculum, track their progress, and access many of the support resources we provide right from within the LMS. We have a lot of experience with this LMS over many projects, and we're very happy with its ability to deliver our courses simply and effectively, even to workers who aren't comfortable with technology. And finally, our program support. All of our participants will receive a package of supporting materials that include project guidebooks, both for the employers and the employees, a VR user guide, which will simplify and ease the introduction to VR technology for your employees. It's a great resource with lots of information close at hand to really simplify the process of people getting used to virtual reality and the hardware we provide. We're going to supply reference cards for all the online resources, project posters, welcome letters, and of course some swag so they can show off their involvement in the program. We're also going to host an onboarding webinar for our partners, and our project team will always be available to support you or your employees through any technical or learning challenges. And this is just a visual of some of our collateral materials, the different guidebooks we provide, and the VR user guide, and some of the swag. We've invested a lot of time in making sure that all of this material makes it simple for you to participate in the program. So we've calculated the value of this program to each of our participating employers is in the range of $25,000. But the great news is it's all at no cost to you, our partners. Again, I'll refresh that the program is launching in April and registrations are now open. And we think the seats are going to fill up quickly, so we look forward to hearing from you soon. Now, so the final step now is to go over some of the details of participation, how it works. The first step in the process is to connect. There's 4 steps here. The first is registration, where you will fill in the application on our iFood360 website, and we'll show you how to do that in a moment. Then we'll contact you to review your application, complete a needs assessment, and answer any questions you have. The next step is commit, where you confirm your participation and the number of employees and who your on-site contact will be. We'll send you a commitment letter to confirm the terms of our agreement, and you sign and return the letter to us. That leads to scheduling, where we'll provide you with onboarding and program start dates, and then we'll prepare and send your package, including all the hardware and the project and support documents. And as I mentioned earlier, we'll be hosting an informative onboarding webinar to share the program details with all of you. The next step is learn. The first step here is log in, where you will distribute all the packages, including the guidebooks and the support documents to your employees. Your employees will be able to review the package and then log in and register on the LMS. Then once online, your employees can commence their self-paced online learning by completing the operational and social emotional curriculums through the LMS. And again, you'll be able to monitor their progress and support your employees using the partner dashboard. Once an employee has completed the online learning element, the on-site contact can coordinate access to the virtual reality hardware for participants to complete the VR experience. We have several suggestions in our guidebooks about how you might want to go about doing that. We recognize that each site is different and you might have different preferences, but we have some suggestions, and we'll also share best practices that may come up. So once you've distributed the headset to an employee, they will complete the VR experiences. And of course, our project team will be available to support both the on-site contact and the employees through the learning journey. And when all of the training is complete, it's important to celebrate. So we'll be sending participant graduation packages, which includes certificates, so you can all celebrate your achievement. And finally, throughout the program, we will be collecting information through surveys and interviews to support our project evaluation. This is an important part of any pilot program, and will deliver critical information to help us identify our successes and also any opportunities we have to improve the program. So it's very important that we have our partner support in ensuring all the surveys and interviews are completed. So before training starts, the on-site contact and employees will complete a baseline survey. And during training, we'll ask the employees to complete evaluation surveys once they've done each of the e-learning streams and once they've completed the VR experience. And then to follow up with post-training, we'll ask the on-site contact and employees to complete post-training surveys after 2 weeks and 12 weeks. And that's how it works. So I'm afraid to ask Mike, but have we received any questions in the chat or the Q&A?
Absolutely, we've actually received some great questions. The most recent is inquiring about FPSC membership in general. So I've attached to the Q&A if you'd like to sign up for FPSC, the link to join, or log in if you are a current member.
Excellent. Jen, did you have anything you wanted to add on membership?
Yeah, if you're not a member of FPSC, definitely become one. It's easy, simple to join. We have so many programs and resources available to you. It's definitely worth looking into. And what does it cost? Absolutely nothing at this point in time. So if you do have your companies interested and you want to sign up your staff, it will be first come, first serve. And depending how many people you have at your company or organization, let's say you have 20 people who want to sign up for the program, we'd be sending you probably 2 or 3 of the Oculus headsets for you to manage and so forth for that. And then if you do need Chromebooks for them to take that training, maybe even if it's at home or after hours, a lot of companies have been doing that with our other programs where they're not losing any production downtime, where they can take the theory part at home. And as well, they could also take the Oculus headset home and do that. So at this point, there's no cost whatsoever to be a part of the program. This pilot, we're evaluating it. We want to test it, see how it works. So definitely jump on board with that right away.
Thanks, Jen. Anything else, Mike?
Yeah, so there's 2 other questions. They're both very similar, and it's is the training specific to a workplace or a general industry? And we tried to make the training as general as possible for people in the food and beverage processing industry. And that kind of dovetails to another question we got, which is, can you upload our warehouse for the team members to get trained? And currently we are not, taking any modifications to it at this moment.
Okay.
So that does it for questions. Anything else has been answered in the chat, just about how to apply. And actually, I have seen some applications come through as we've been doing this, so it's great to see, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, that's great news.
I just wanted to clarify Liz's question. She said, is the training specific to workplace or general industry? Maybe you can just be a bit more clear in terms of like workplace. So we've done it based on numerous scenarios that would take place at a food processing facility. So there's different areas to the floor. So Champion Foods is supposed to be a simulated food processing facility, right? So we're doing different activities that would happen within the facility, and then use it for general industry. So yes, it's not specific to meat, bakery, dairy, or so forth. We did try to keep it fairly general.
Great, thanks, Jen. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, we're always reachable on the website or through our contact information on the FPSC site. If you have any questions, we're always happy to have a chat and clarify anything you need. So finally, obviously, the horse may be out of the barn, but for some, we've already received some applications. But for any of you who would like to apply to partner with us in the program, you can find the application on our website, which is iFood360.ca. All you have to do is click the apply button. Because we have the 2 different elements to the program, just click the apply now button under the question, are you an employer? Then you'll be taken to an application form on our site, and we simply ask you fill in the application, answering all the questions as best you can, and submit the form, and that's all you need to do. You should receive a confirmation email almost immediately acknowledging your application. And shortly afterwards, we'll follow up with an email to schedule our first meeting. We hope we've been able to show you today the potential benefits of this program, and we're looking forward to hearing from you through an application or through our website. If there are any questions or if you'd like to stay on, we'd be happy to turn the cameras back on and the microphones if you want to stay on. Looks like we're going to be wrapping up a little early, so we're happy to stay if you want to chat a little bit more about the program. And of course, as I said, you could also reach us on our website. But finally, for those of you who are going to drop off, on behalf of Jennifer and Mike and myself, I want to thank you so much for joining us today to learn about our program. We sincerely appreciate you taking the time to join us. And just a reminder, the program is launching in April and registrations are open now. So we look forward to hearing from you soon. So thank you again. We hope you have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Mike, is there a way to open up like questions live, like for people to ask anything?
Yep,
Not
so
through the
we do have
chat?
the Q&A open right now, but if they'd like to speak via audio, let me see if I can just cut that. If you'd like, if somebody would like to ask like a live question via audio, if you could say your name in the chat or just say, hey, I have a question, I'll enable it so you can ask it verbally as well.
Yeah, is it possible to just turn the cameras and microphones back on, Mike?
Yep, just give me 1 second.
Okay, thank you. Looks like we still have quite a few participants with us.
It's always good to have that live interaction. I want to see some faces.
Yeah, I spent a couple minutes wondering if anybody was here or could hear us. I was a little nervous when we weren't seeing any responses in the chat. That's a good question from Michael Bailo Conestoga. What does the learner evaluation look like? Well, if I understand correctly, that's sort of a multi-step answer. Each learner is evaluated through the e-learning element, where there's a final test at the end of each course, and they require a certain mark to receive a certificate for that particular course. Within the virtual reality activities, there are certain stages in each activity that a learner will have an opportunity to choose one answer or another, and they'll be graded on the responses. There's some complexity involved in grading the virtual reality activities. We want to give everybody an opportunity to participate and succeed. So there are some activities where there'll be questions or answers. Some of the activities in the production area, students are graded on the successful completion of all the steps. And if any steps are missed or executed incorrectly, there's marks deducted from their final mark. Each participant in the VR activities, once they've successfully completed an activity, they'll also be awarded a bronze, silver, or gold medal. It's quite an exciting award ceremony that we're still working on in the programming phase, but it's going to be I think a great recognition of all their small achievements through the activities. And I hope that answers your question. Feel free to ask me to elaborate if I haven't.
There's another question as well from Michael. So they're wondering, is the learning rolled out in stages of difficulty?
I think he answered that one already, actually.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Michael,
Yeah.
you're there.
Hey, Michael.
How you guys doing?
Terrific. Thank you. How are you?
Good.
Good. Good. This looks like a really interesting program. We've actually been looking at trying to build this, but it's a huge undertaking. And to see you guys have this done is incredible. Actually.
We're excited
Yes.
to show you.
We want your people to try it and practice and see what you think.
It's I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but there's a remarkable amount of work that goes into developing virtual reality activities.
Well, I've spent the
Can be
last,
challenging, but I think the rewards are dramatic too. And the opportunity to really dramatically accelerate and improve your training outcomes is a possibility that makes some of that labor worthwhile.
Mhm. I spent the last 7 months or so intensely researching this and discovered that as creative as I am, I don't have the expertise to create this. So hats off to you and your team for sure.
Thank
Oh,
you, Michael.
It's a much bigger team than you see here today. And they've all done a great job.
Just as an example, the hand washing. So you'd have data points there where you want to see them turn the faucet off a certain way, turn it on, wet their hands, all the different steps of hand washing. If they don't do all of the steps, do they fail, or did they get feedback and then they have to go back and do it again? Like that's what I was getting at. Is is it rolled out in stages, or do they spend a bit of time learning how to wash their hands in a static session, and then they have to go then do it virtually, and then they're evaluated on that?
Yeah, Michael, certainly within the e-learning curriculum, they explore all the theory of the hand washing process. And then they have to complete certain steps. Some of the challenges we didn't meet, like turning the faucet on and off. But they're covered in what we call a user interface, where all the steps are explained. And the hand washing is also part of the successful donning of the PPE. So if they complete all the steps for the PPE and the hand washing, they'll be successful. It isn't a highly restrictive grading process. We want the students to, have a positive experience and feel like they can be successful by, using some of the learning they had from the e-learning program.
Mm-hmm. I have a question too, I think, from Mark, but I'll ask it offline.
Sounds good.
Yeah, anytime, Michael.
Yeah.
I think there's a
Always
hand
happy
up
to
from
talk.
somebody else as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel, it looks like has a question. So Daniel, whenever you're ready.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, thank you.
Hi, Daniel.
Hi, I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, and our company name is Hoffman's Fine Foods. We are a small business, and yeah, I feel bad to ask a question, but I was thinking like, okay, for example, we have 3 employees, and I was thinking like, okay, how are we going to cover our hours? For example, if we're going to send one employee for the whole course, that means we need to hire someone to cover that, because we don't have that much employees to cover the job. So how have you been solving this problem?
Mhm. Well, Daniel, if you, it's a hybrid model. It's online. So all of the curriculum or the theory courses that go with it, the individuals take online. So that's where we can provide you with the technology, so those individuals can take the training after hours at
That sounds
home.
good.
Yeah, so what you can do, like maybe, I don't know, maybe the workplace can give them time in lieu or something they can figure out. Like a lot of organizations are figuring out how to reward them for taking the training.
Thank you very much.
Good. Hopefully that helps.
So I'm not seeing any other questions in the chat or hands raised currently.
No more burning questions.
Well, we're, as we said earlier, we're always available. There are forms on our website you can just fill in and submit. We'll get notification right away, and we're always happy to answer questions and get in touch with potential partners. So if you're not comfortable jumping on the chat here, feel free to reach out to us afterwards. We're always happy to talk.
We do have
online. She's asking if we're going to provide the presentation after, and we will, right?
Yes. Yeah.
recorded version and a PDF of the presentation, or?
Yes, absolutely. We'll, in our follow-up email, we'll have a link to the recording. We can provide a PDF as well. We'll have some links to our research report, both the webinar and the download, a link to our website, and I believe we'll include a link to the PricewaterhouseCoopers study on virtual reality in business from 2022. And
And
if there's anything else, feel free to pop in the chat. If you'd like a link to something else, just let us know.
And we know like the process can potentially be a bit daunting for some companies as well. We think the most difficult part is going to probably be the onboarding and just getting you comfortable with the headsets and the technologies. So Mike is going to be there, and Mark, to lead you along that way, really set you up well, do proper onboarding to ensure that your on-site contact, whoever that person may be at your facility, will be very comfortable with the technology. We have resources, we'll have videos, guidebooks, but they'll also be able to help lead you through that, and even do Zoom one-on-one and so forth to get you prepared for that process. All right. Well, I think we're getting close to our hour. We give people back 7 minutes.
Excellent.
Thank you very
Well,
much, everyone.
Thank you again for joining us today. It was great to see you, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy the afternoon.